Dear Diary, day 8. You know, reflecting, thinking about maybe, appreciating what I have, thinking of times where, it wasn't so easy, like having to, the 1980s, skipping the army and going to London and squatting in London. It was this weird idea that you could just, there were these houses, they were open, you would sort of break into these houses, and you could turn on the water, you could turn on the geyser, you could have the gas, you could cook, you could have electricity, all of those things, and you sort of just were illegally occupying anyway. So that's what we were doing. And you could have good squats and you could have bad squats, and we lived in these two. Some of my friends lived next door. Old Harvey and Scotty were in the one, and I was in the one next door. And it was a really shit squat, actually, because it was sort of falling apart. It was so bad, actually. The toilet was leaking so badly that it rotted the floorboards. And one night, in the middle of the night, the toilet actually fell from the second floor sort of into the entrance hall. Thank God it happened in the middle of the night. Anyway, my first night at that squat, I was sleeping and I was kicked awake in the morning. This guy had sort of wandered in from the streets and kicked me awake and said, "I'll give you £10 if you let me climb into the sleeping bag with you." And I said to him, "Not even for 20. But and then there was so I was at another time in another squat. We lived in this, it was a house had been a home for wayward boys, actually. It was a big place, and our lounge was this gymnasium that had been the sort of gymnasium of the place. And of course, that was an incredible space to have in London, to have your lounge as a gymnasium. It was the size of a gymnasium. It was unbelievable. Anyway, that's another story. But one day I walked out of there, sort of bounded out into the streets, and there was a guy, skinhead, with his back to me, and sort of I took him by surprise, and he turned around, and obviously improvising, he pulled out his knife, and he said, "Give me all your money." The only thing is, his knife was really tiny, because anyway, for whatever reason, his knife was really small, and I looked at his knife and I thought, geez, you'd have to stab me like to kill me. You'd have to stab me like, I don't know, like 1,000 times with this little knife. Anyway, so I mean, I had £1. I pulled out the £1 and I gave it. I handed it to him, and he sort of looked at me and he kind of realized this guy's just walked out of a squat. So take the £1, and he took the £1 and he wandered off down the road. So appreciate what you have.